Sufi traditions. The word Sufi, start ho gaya. The word Sufi is derived from the Arabic word Safa, which means clean. Sufi wore coarse woolen garments. They came to India when the Turkish rule was established in India. Institutionally, the Sufis started to organize the Khanak, Persian. Khanak is a Persian word. Khanak was controlled by a teaching master called a sheikh in Arabic, Pir or Murid in Persian. Pir was the priest, Pir was the guru. He controlled Murid, disciples, and appointed a Khalifa, successor. He established rules for spiritual conduct and interaction between inmates as well as between master and lays person. Sufi Silsila began to organize in different parts of Islamic world around 12th century. Around 12th century. Anin raha ye niche, huh? 12th century. The term Silsila literally means a chain which signified a continuous link between a master and his disciple. This chain is stretched as an unbroken spiritual genealogy to the Prophet Muhammad. Spiritual power and blessings were transmitted to devotees through this channel. Special rituals of initiation were started in which initiates took an oath of allegiance, wore patched garments, and shaved their hair. Tomb shrines became the center of devotion of followers. With the death of Sheikh, it encouraged the practice of ziyarat to the grave, which took place particularly on his death anniversary or Urs. Some mystics, men started movement on the basis of radical interpretation of Sufi ideas. These mystics scorned the Khanak, took to mendicancy and observed celibacy. They ignored rituals and observed extreme forms of asceticism. They were known by different names like Kalandars, Malangs, Madaris, Haidaris, etc. The Chistis were the most influential out of the Sufi groups which migrated to India in the late 12th century. It was so because they not only adopted successfully to the local environment but they also adopted few features of Indian devotional tradition. The Khanak was the center of social life. Khanak of Sheikh Nizamuddin early at 14th century had many small rooms and a big hall called as Jamawat Khana. The inmates includes the family members of the Sheikh, his attendants and disciples. Visitors to Sheikh included poets like Amir Hassan, Sizdi, Amir Khusro and the court historian Jauddin Barani. All of these wrote about the Sheikh. Sheikh Nizamuddin appointed few spiritual successors and sent them to different parts of the subcontinent to set up Khanaks. In this way, teachings, practices, organizations and fame of the Chisti spread around rapidly. A number of pilgrims began to flow to his shrine and also to the shrine of his spiritual ancestors. Ziyarat to the tomb of Sufi saints is prevalent all over the Islamic world. This practice is in occasion to seek the spiritual grace of Sufi saints from the last 700 years. People of different background, different classes, creeds, and social background have expressed their devotion at the dargahs of the five great Chisti saints. The most popular dargah is the dargah of Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti at Ajmer, who is also known as Garib Nawaz. Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti. Khwaja Muinuddin Chisti. He is called Garib Nawaz Chisti and his shrine is at Ajmer. Dargah is Chisti called Garib Nawaz. Ajmer. His dargah is at Ajmer. And a lot of Hindus and Muslims, they also visited. The dargah was situated on the trade route linking Delhi and Gujarat. That is why it attracted a lot of travelers. The Dargah of Ajmer had become very popular by the 16th century. The spiritual singing of the pilgrims bound by Ajmer inspired Akbar to visit the tomb. He visited the tomb 14 times. He gave generous gifts on each of his visits. He offered a huge cauldron dega in 1568 to facilitate cooking for pilgrims. He also constructed a mosque within the compound of the Dargah. Use of music and dance were also the part of ziyarat. It also included mystical chants performed by specially trained musicians or qawwals to evoke divine ecstasy. The Sufi mediated God by reciting the zikr, the divine names, or evoking his presence through sama, literally audition, or performing mystical music. Chistis not only adopted local language in Sama, but people of Delhi associated with Chisti Silsila, talked with people in Hindavi, the language of the people. Baba Farid also composed verses in local language, which were incorporated in the Holy Guru Granth Sahib Ji. Few Sufi saints composed long poems called Masnavis, which expressed ideas of divine love using human love as an allegory. Another genre of Sufi poetry was composed around the region of Bijapur, Karnataka. These were short poems written in Dakhani, a variant of Hindu, Urdu. These were composed by Chistis and living over here around 17th and 18th century. Sufis of this region were probably influenced by prevailing Bhakti tradition of this region. It is through this medium that Islam gained a place in the village of the Deccan. One of the major features of Chisti's tradition was austerity. They maintained a distance from worldly power. The Sufi generally accepted unsolicited grants and donations from the political elite. Chistis accepted donation in cash and kind, but they did not accumulate donation. They liked to use these grants on immediate requirement of food, clothes, living, quarters, and ritual necessities. The piety, scholarship, belief in miraculous power of Sufi saints became regions of their popularity among the people. That is why kings also wanted to secure their support. It was believed that the awliya could intercede with God to improve the material and spiritual condition of general masses. Probably that is why rulers often wanted their tombs to be in the vicinity of Sufi dargahs and khanaqs. Pause. The Sufi start. The teachings of the Sufi saints tradition were as follows. The Sufi saints preach that God is one. As God is one, we are all His children. God is one. That God is one. And we are all His children. God is not Rama, Krishna or Muhammad. They are all great men but not God. The Sufi saints preach that those who wanted to attain God should be human beings. God loves those who love other human beings. Third, according to Sufi saints, a man becomes high not by his religion but by his deeds. If an untouchable perform a good deed, he will be considered as high. The Sufis states that all religions are the same because the purpose of all religions is to attain God. The Sufi saints and Bhagat gave more importance to peace and non-violence. They gave an exalted position of Guru and Peer. Now next, pause. Sufism became a well-developed movement in the 11th century. It led to the publication of literature on Quranic studies and Sufi practices. The word Sufi is derived from Suf, meaning wool. It shows the coarse woolen clothes worn by Sufis. Some people derive this word from Safa, which meant purity. It may also have been derived from Safia, which signified the platform outside the mosque of the Prophet. The followers of the Prophet assembled near his platform to learn about the faith. Sufi began to organize communities around Khanaq. These Khanaqs were controlled by Sheikh, who was a Peer or Murid, or the teaching master, Murshid, or the teaching master. Sufi rejected the intellectual explanation of Quran given by conservative religious leaders. They emphasized that the path of salvation lay in the devotion of God and obedience to his will. They stated that Prophet Muhammad was the Insane Kamil, and therefore we should follow his ideals and teaching. They interpreted Quran on the basis of their personal experience. In other words, Khanaks established rule for his spiritual conduct. But in the 12th century, Silsila began to crystallize in different parts of the Islamic world. The word Silsila literally meant a chain. It signified a continuous link between the master and the disciple. It helped in transmitting spiritual power and blessings to the devotees. Those who joined Silsila took an oath of allegiance. They wore a patched garment and shaved their head. When Sheikh died, a tomb shrine was built in his honor. This dargah soon became the center of devotion for all his followers. This encouraged the practice of pilgrims or ziyarat. People visited such dargahs either on a death anniversary or marriage. In other words, the Sikh was revered as Wali. Now, this how Chishti Silsila became popular in and discuss about Khanak. Chishti were the most influential among Sufi communities which came over to India at the end of 12th century. It was so big because they not only adopted themselves to the local environment, but they also adopted many things of Indian Bhakti tradition. Khanak of Sheikh, Nizamuddin Aulia, Chistis have been the most important and influential among the Muslims. They were pliable and flexible. They successfully adopted themselves to the local environment and also adopted many features of Indian devotion tradition. The major teachers of Chisti Silsila include Sheikh Moinuddin Chisti, Khwaja Kutubuddin Bakhtiyar Kaki, Sheikh Fariduddin Kashankar, Sheikh Nizamuddin Aulia, and Sheikh Nasruddin Chiragi Delhi. The Chisti appointed many spiritual successors. They helped in spreading the teaching, practices, and organization of the Chistis. They also encouraged pilgrims to the shrine of these Chistis. This pilgrim was known as Ziyarat. All the Chistis got donation from the people because they led a life of austerity and pity. They had also great spiritual successor. Besides, they enjoyed patronage of royal visitors. The dargah at Ajmer became very popular. Akbar visited this dargah 14 times. Sometimes he came to this holy place twice or thrice a year. He was so devoted to this shrine that he sought many blessings. New victories fulfillment of his desire, and the birth of sons. He also offered a huge cauldron dug so that people for pilgrims may be get cooked food easily. He also constructed a mosque within the compound of the dargah. That's all.